And good
And
morning, everybody. This is AUC with Dr. B, with renowned cardiologist and also founder and owner of Advanced Urgent Care, the number one urgent care provider in the Florida Keys for over 14 years, and restaurateur of Central Duval now. Boy, you are a busy bee, Dr. B, no doubt about it. Good morning to you.
hey, Michael, how you doing today? I'm enjoying this weather. I don't know about anybody else,
It's
but
refreshing, nice and crisp.
yeah, actually today's like the first day I woke up and my hip wasn't hurting at all. Mm.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I got my third stem cell infusion a few days ago, and a little early for that to work, but I keep using my DMSO cream. Put it on about 3 times a day. DS, it's fantastic, and getting these stem cells, and I feel like there's a high likelihood that I might avoid the blade
Mm.
surgery. So, I mean, this is good,
It
but
is.
I don't want to
Congratulations.
I don't want
And
to stress it too much right now. Remember, you got to keep your eye on me.
I
So if I'm
do.
walking around without a limp, I might have to turn you on to all my secret methodologies.
You are my you're my test subject.
Reference. I'm
Yeah,
your
yeah.
reference point
Uh,
for so many for so many
exactly.
things. I like to say good morning to everybody, and it's a beautiful day. And I think it was something like 68 or 70 degrees this morning.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so we are actually cooler than in California because I spoke to my son out there in LA, and it was getting warm, whatever warm means to California. I have no idea, but
Right.
anyway, yeah, it's we unfortunately we're not going to be able to have one of my guests on today. Not able to make it, personal issues, but it was going to be related to the stem cells and other types of therapies. But along that vein, as long as we're doing the opening, I want to discuss what Dr. Jason Pirozzolo is doing at keywestortho.com here down here in Key West, because he's starting to look more into not only PRP and other modalities of non-surgical orthopedics, but he is looking into stem cells. He does do the PRP, as I said, shoulders and knees and hips and things like that. So, like several months ago, that's when everything blew up in my hip, and so Jason was preliminarily who I went to, and he helped me a lot. So if you're interested, his program is absolutely fantastic because he's fantastic. You can go to Jason at keywestortho.com. That's Jason at keywestortho.com here at Advanced Urgent Care, 1980 North Roosevelt. And you can contact him and set up an appointment. And he's predominantly working off of appointments because he's so busy. It gets not very hard to get like a walk-in. But if he does have an opening and you just walk in and say, I'm having this, that, or the other problem with a joint, a twist, an ankle, or whatever it might be, our providers are all very skilled, not only initially, but because now they've been working with him for months and months and months and months. So, they see a lot of these problems initially. If they feel that there's follow-up, they will set you up with a follow-up appointment, either with them or with Dr. Jason if it's a little bit higher level or more sophisticated. So, it's just great to have him on board, not only as our leader in urgent care physicians, along with Jimmy Wagner, but his orthopedic skills are fantastic. So we keep moving with services. And a little later today, we will have Suzette Chastain on board, and she'll call in kind of like whenever, but we'll kind of kick in with Suzette. And her announcement is really quite profound and very exciting for the marathon area. And, we've been trying very hard to build up a primary care base there. We had a kind of a failed, no, I shouldn't even use that word. We had a limited start, but our provider wound up getting pregnant. And then not only that, uh, her husband was deployed
Oh,
uh, about 3 months into her starting. So we had 90 patients at that particular point, just 3 days a week. and we could see the need for it. And again, with our urgent care up there, and many people know Dr. O'Connor. Right next door to advanced urgent care is where our primary care office will restart with Suzette. And she is such a delight, and she's got that little southern accent. And so we're going to be relaunching that. We'll talk about that a little later.
Always moving
And
ahead. Yeah,
pardon me?
always moving ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, services are needed, so we have to keep trying to deliver. And she received just briefly, I think, over 200 follow-ups on her Facebook that she put out that she's here, who she is. I won't delve into that further, but over 200 requests for appointments and to get more information about her. She's absolutely fabulous. And I don't want to steal her thunder, but for me personally, to have somebody with 12 years of cardiovascular experience as well as being a family practice nurse practitioner is incredible because now we literally have a representative for cardiovascular care. And of course, the older population has hypertension, hyperlipidemia, cardiovascular issues, and blah, blah, blah. So now I've got an expert extension who'll be working, with me as well. If there's higher level needs or issues, I mean, we'll be communicating. All my centers send me EKGs or present cases to me. So behind the scenes, in a way, I'm working to have them get direction in these areas of hypertension or cholesterol or whatever. So in a way, you get me just by being part of advanced urgent care, but now we have direct hands-on in Key Largo and Marathon, as well as down here in Key West, where I do practice concierge, but I spill over, and of course I'm always available to help. So I think that's exciting news, and we're going to let Suzette speak for herself. And I think everybody's going to fall in love with her. So, and there's other things related to her. So, as far as what we're doing, at the urgent care, I think that, those are the two most significant things. Our MRI systems are now in full swing, and we're doing MRIs in half the time of a hospital or other locations. So you only have to hear the banging and clanging now for 50% of the time, and our images are absolutely fantastic. Our radiologists are just absolutely thrilled with the way the images look. And we can get those ordered and get the pre-approvals, et cetera, very quickly. And we really appreciate people coming, even if it means a 40-minute drive. One of the things that is critical for people to know is that if you need an MRI, we can get it done now because we're so rapid in our imaging time that generally it's 1 to 2 days to get your MRI. So if somebody says, "Listen, I need to have an MRI," or we see a patient and we want to get it same day, generally we can get it done in the later afternoon on day one, and almost assuredly on day two, from the time that you call, which is unheard of, literally.
Yes.
So, and in addition, for the cash paying customers, because of the crisis in health insurance and the cost going up 2, 3, 400%, ridiculous amounts, cash paying customers $475
Mm.
without contrast, and it's another $50, I believe, if you need to use contrast to outline a particular type of problem. So most MRIs really are without contrast. It's pretty rare to have to use it, but we have the capabilities of doing it. Janelle is fantastic up there in Marathon or down there, and depending upon where you're coming from. But I think that's very exciting. Instead of having to wait weeks for an MRI, we have honed this system down now to where literally you can get your answers. You can get the MRI done, but I can tell you that answers for MRIs are usually 3 to 4 days because MRIs are often not stat. They are problems that people have had, and we're trying to clear up arthritic problems, knee problems, hip problems, shoulder problems. So most radiology services now are conglomerates. Okay, they banded together, and so now they're reading for big hospital systems, and they're often, as I was told, 2 to 3 thousand reads behind, and they're always trying to catch up. So MRI falls to the bottom, but if we actually had one that was an unequivocal stat, we could get it read. We can get it read, but it's pretty rare to have a stat MRI readout. So anyway, that's something that I think is really important and I think highly beneficial, not only cost-wise, quality-wise, but the time factor as well. So, please, everybody, you just go on to our general phone number. It's 305-294-0011 and listen for the prompt for MRI. Abby Tout does a great job of getting these things scheduled, and Janelle is fantastic as well in doing the imaging. Um, so that's pretty much it for, like urgent care. It's winter time. Be patient. We're doing the best we can. And I guess I would just jump in to say right now that we don't really, everybody is now starting to talk about Nipah virus. I don't know if you've heard about Nipah virus, Mike.
I have not. No.
Yeah, well, it's just another fear porn deal that's going on over in Vietnam and in Asia. So, it's a very deadly virus, and it's hard to contract unless you make out with pigs. So animals such as pigs and fruit bats, as a matter of fact, by direct contact or through their secretions. However, it's making the rounds in terms of the fear porn, and so I don't think that we need to worry about it over here, but again, it does have about a 60% fatality rate, and of course, there's no vaccine yet for it. However, it's a virus, and my contention would be that most likely ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine might be really good treatments for it, particularly ivermectin. And so, it presents with nausea, vomiting, fever, high fevers, and respiratory problems, which can go into a pneumonia. So I just would like to reassure all my listeners that it's highly unlikely that you're going to get Nipah virus unless you do go to Thailand, Nepal, or Vietnam, where there's still a very low incidence. There have been 2 cases reported. So
Okay. Well,
don't
thank you
freak
for
out
that.
about Nipah virus, okay?
We often talk about the fact that you will hear information here you will not hear elsewhere, and you'll get some clarity as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
I will
so
not lose sleep over Nipah virus just yet.
yeah, I was thinking, okay, so in addition, the good news also with advanced urgent care, very, very, very important that we now have a lab core relationship,
Hmm,
okay, down here in Key West. And
excellent.
I think at all our centers. So they were with us, and then for other reasons, they moved away, and then they came back to us and said, please, please do our blood draws. So we now officially do lab core blood draws and in our Key West location, okay, outpatient lab draws. It has to be on a lab core form. So if you rather come to us, then I guess go to the hospital or somewhere else. You could come Monday through Thursday. We're open from 8 for the draws, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4, okay, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Orders have to be on the LabCorp order sheet from your doctor or from a healthcare provider, and that's really good news. Okay, so
Doctor,
yeah,
let me ask a question on that then. Would the appointment for that be made through LabCorp or through your
no, no,
office?
you just come.
Just come in.
Just come at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
The reason we're only doing Monday through Thursday is they don't pick up.
Yeah.
So a lot of these tests, we don't want them sitting there and then they're not valid. Things like, the potassium or other types of tests that we do, they can only be stored overnight. Then they get a pickup and then they're run up to Miami and they have a certain shelf life, half-life, so to speak, where the test results will be valid.
Hmm.
So sometimes, they don't have pickup on a Saturday or a Sunday. And by the time they get up to the LabCorp centers for processing, the test results may not be valid.
That is huge news because there's only one other outpatient facility in Key West, in the Keys overall, that I'm familiar with, that I've been experiencing, and there's significant wait time there, unless.
Yeah, well, we still do Quest. Okay. There is a Quest Center over by Jersey Mike's, but again, we're available and now we're available for LabCorp.
Okay.
And okay, so the reason I like this LabCorp relationship is LabCorp, I've been testing a lot for spike protein,
Mm,
okay, from the vaccines, or do people, did they get it through shedding like me?
yes.
And we're going to be switching over now to LabCorp testing for spike protein because they give you a quantitative number, okay, rather than just a titer above or below 2,500.
Mm,
So the value of that is that in my case, when I checked myself a year ago, because I felt like something was not right, my titer was above 2,500. Was it 2,800, 3,000, 4,000? I don't know. Okay, but certainly I knew it was abnormal because normal is less than zero point 0.8. Okay, that you are still making spike protein either from the shots for COVID-19 or that you picked it up through shedding or me breathing in the mRNA and spike protein product producing products, the mRNA and the lipid nanoparticle in exosomes, these tiny little nanoparticles that I was breathing into my lungs, got onto my bloodstream, and then made me start making spike protein. So even without the shot, you can be making spike protein.
mm,
And it's pretty scary. Okay. And we'll get into a little bit of that shortly. So I retested myself oh gosh, I think I retested myself. I started in January of 2025 taking the Spike Detox. That's when Ultimate Spike Detox from the Wellness Company. And that was January 2025. I was over 2,500. My symptoms went away. And then I checked again in August, and my titer was still above 2,500. So remember, we can't stop the production of the spike protein. We don't know how to do that. All we can do is block the effect of the spike protein on your cells and your organs, including your brain and your heart. People are still having sudden death episodes from cardiac arrhythmias and cardiac damage from the spike, unequivocally autopsy proven, peer reviewed and published in the journals. And we're seeing a lot of cognitive dysfunction, dementia, Jacob Creutzfeldt disease, multiple sclerosis, neuropathic illness. Still, 4 years later, we are finding these spike proteins and exosomes circulating in the blood 4 years after your last shot.
mm.
Okay, many people are still making these spike proteins. It's devastating. So anyway, I retested last week.
Okay.
And I'm proud to announce that my titer is down to 2,375.
Hmm.
So I don't know where I started, okay,
Mm,
but I'm slightly under their threshold. So they gave me an actual number. And if you're less than 1,000, we don't recommend treating that. That means you're probably excreting it or you don't have a big load of spike protein big enough to actually warrant daily treatment like I take and many of my patients take because most of them are over 2,500. But I'm going to the LabCorp because that's going to give me an absolute number. Is it 30,000? Is it 20,000? Is it 12? Okay, so we're going to start moving in that direction so we can actually see, are you making improvement? Or was this just, was I 25, 20? Okay, for almost a year, and now I'm 2375. Maybe it was just a different day. Maybe I am excreting it or slightly breaking it down. I don't know, but that's data that we're getting in.
okay.
So let me, if I can, Mike, I really want to talk for a second. We're going to come back to this because there's some very cool things and interrelated stuff.
Yes.
We'd just like to say that let's talk about the restaurants, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about the Emporium, 618 Duval. We're doing Mile Zero. We are hosting two of the biggest events. We have one to go for Mile Zero, which is a lot of that's out at the Coffee Butler Amphitheater. But we are hosting at our place. If you just go on Mile Zero, you'll see what we're hosting. And it's absolutely, great. We have a great venue. We can handle a lot of people. Super Bowl's coming up, and so we're going to be showing that at not only the Emporium, where we have multiple TVs throughout, but also at Docks on Duval. But at the Emporium, we do have line dancing on Wednesday with Marvin. We have jackpot trivia, thanks to you and your naming it that such, where you can win up to $1,200 cash over the course of weeks. We have had not yet to have anybody win the actual outright jackpot, but we do break it up after 12 weeks.
Right.
And then we give 600, 400, and $200 cash away to first, second, and third. But we've got great prizes thanks to Sandals, thanks to Cupcake Sushi, thanks to Bombora, thanks to Hemingway Rum, and to now Screwball. Pretty much everybody walks out with a prize, so don't be too depressed if you come in last like us. We didn't get a prize, but we sure ate well and had a good time. So you're there and you see how much we have a family there every Thursdays,
You
kind of
really
at
do.
60 people to 70 people. And there is capacity for another two or three teams. So get there at 5:45 on Thursdays, come from work. The weekends start on Thursday when you started out at the Emporium with Jackpot Trivia. Super Bowl, like I said, is coming. Then basketball, March Madness, the playoffs, and we got something going on all the time there. Live music Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So let me and then now go to Docks on Duval, which is at 708
8.
Duval.
Mhm.
But the name plate, the tile that's there on the sidewalk is 712. So
Okay.
somebody put it in for the downstairs, but it's actually 708 Duval. And our menus, you can go up and see what we have. But if you like meat and I'm pushing the carnivore diet, we use Black Angus for our burgers. And we also have bison burgers, which, as you know, was a meal all unto itself. That bison burger, that was it. I ate like five French fries and I couldn't eat any more, but absolutely fantastic. We've got Wagyu burgers and all the sides, the cornbread, the succotash, the beans, you name it. Please try it for lunch, try it for dinner. It's absolutely fantastic. And we're working on the interior with a very cool historic theme of Key West and the Lower Keys, where you may be able to actually look like you're shaking hands with Ernest Hemingway, Tennessee Williams, maybe Captain Tony, and some other iconic people that will be painted onto the walls, almost three-dimensional in a really cool environment. We have a waiting atrium that we're working on. We have the balcony that overlooks Duval Street, and that'll be dinner until about 10. And then we're going to clear the tables, and that's going to be a hangout on the balcony at night for young lovers, old lovers, or anybody who just wants to have a really upstairs cool view of Duval Street. And that'll be for events obviously as well that come down the street. We have our downstairs bar as well. The desserts are fantastic. If you want a root beer float, key lime pie, whatever, you can all do takeout. So, you call up, give your order, and we'll have it ready. You just call and say, "Hey, I'm Mike Stapleford. Bring me my order." And you can take all our delicious food home from there. And that stocks on Duval. And we really appreciate the local support, which is ever increasing. We're making this Central Duval. These three restaurants offer so much. And in terms of variety, the Dragon and Rooster we'll talk about, but we really want the locals to know we're trying to claw back that piece of Duval Street, the 700 block in particular, for the locals to know. Just park at the fire station. If you're a local, you should have a sticker. You don't have to pay. And if you're not, you're just $6, $7 or whatever to eat. But, our prices are extremely reasonable. for the product that we deliver. So, we are really focusing on Central Duval for the locals.
Yes, it's fabulous. All of the offerings, all of the properties consistently deliver tremendous food and service and a great time. There's so much there that's being offered.
And yeah, and come by for breakfast,
Yeah.
okay? Our
Mhm.
breakfast crowd is growing, growing and growing and growing. And we go 8 to 11 on Saturday and Sundays. Really fantastic, excellent food for breakfast. So,
Mhm.
that is something else that we'll lead into, relative to sequevity, which is put in all of the pork products with, we didn't know that, but mRNA has been put into pork now since 2012. Oh, look at those eyebrows go up.
Ah,
So, we really cook our ham, we cook our bacon, we cook our sausages, so they are cooked to kill mRNA, vaccine material, which has been put into swine without approval, without regulatory oversight, without any understanding. I have hammered into Scott, kill the mRNA. So
mm,
when you eat at our restaurants, not only are you going to have protected food, but in addition, I will now move over to Dragon and Rooster, where the Far East meets Key West,
yes.
and that's at 628 Duval. And you got fantastic, fantastic Asian food there. It's a limited seating, 34. You really should call to make reservations, but 34 seats, and you can have a party up to 14 in the back where we can put all the tables together. But we have hot two tops, and we have the noodle bar area for lunch and for dinner. We open at 11, and I wanted to make sure, and this is very critical, okay, that we cook with lemongrass additive.
Okay.
Why is that important, Mike?
It tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes good, but it also is a health benefit.
I
Did
was
you know
going to
that?
guess at that.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, why would I be talking about it other than, it's really is excellent. And I confirmed again today that lemongrass is in the vast majority of our products. So, what is the benefit? And this is going to be a free-flowing discussion because I put it together, in the last few days because of the opening. But I always learn very important facts like, did you know that lemongrass is known also as citronella grass? And you know what citronella is used for down here, right? To keep those no-see-ums from eating you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, but it's using candles and sprays and all, these outdoor torches and things like that. But it has tremendous health benefits. Okay, so it has anti-inflammatory properties.
Mhm.
Okay, which it has antioxidants in it and phenol acids, tannins, and flavonoids. And these help to fight inflammation and free radical damage. We've talked about the free radicals many times and how damaging they are to cells and what these so-called vaccines, these poison jabs have done to increase free radical production, which gets into our cells and destroys our energy producing portions of our cells called mitochondria. And so these free radicals damage the mitochondria, and that's why we see a lot of the fatigue and other things that we're seeing. The free radicals do damage the heart and the brain, and they cause cancer and arthritis. Lemongrass also has antimicrobial properties. So the essential oils of lemongrass have those, and it can help, therefore, to fight off harmful bacteria. So particularly staph, E. coli, salmonella. So lemongrass essential oils may be able to stop the growth of those bacteria, but also fungi and viruses.
Hmm.
Viruses, okay? We learned a lot about viruses.
Yes.
Digestive health, okay, people who drink lemongrass tea, they've been doing it for centuries to settle an upset stomach and to alleviate cramping. So recent studies have supported the theories that lemongrass may offer some protection for the GI tract, and it can help with stomach ulcers. In addition, Mike, I'm not done with my lemongrass benefits. I'm getting close.
No, go ahead. There's a lot of them. I'm seeing them now.
Stress relief,
Yeah.
the calming effect of lemongrass on the mind and body, making it a popular natural remedy for stress. Several studies have shown that the smell of lemongrass, which is quite delightful, can improve mood and cognition while also reducing symptoms of anxiety. So, if you're having cognitive impairment, you're anxious, you're stressed out, please come to Dragon and Rooster and you can have lunch or dinner or takeaway or whatever you would like. So, I confirm with my dear friend and partner Scott that we have lemongrass in our dishes.
It,
Now,
it
one of
is a
the other
long list of
fascinating things,
health benefits, and it tastes
I,
good as well. But
I'm looking, I didn't even realize that we do all these, like incredible things. But you know what? If you go on my X at Boros Bruce,
Mhm.
you'll also see that lemongrass and dandelion root is an ultimate spike detox product that we use for people that have spikopathy, but it is now being shown to be a anti-cancer agent.
Wow,
So lemongrass and dandelion root now are coming forth in
Doctor.
terms of, yeah,
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, just a quick divergence here, if I may. I just was speaking at length with a friend who has since been living in Asia, well, the Far East, since last March, and he has lost 70 pounds, feeling better than he ever has. And, he talks about it all being attributed to diet and doing away with a lot of the poisons and foods that we eat here on a regular basis, et cetera, versus the foods that they eat there. Hence, Dragon and Rooster, you're talking about lemongrass and those types of things. He was just talking about the lifestyle differences over there related to diet, and it makes a huge difference.
yeah. Well, I really appreciate your input on that. It's like I've learned so much about what I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, so with COVID, and these poison jabs. Okay, that still have not been full stopped yet. They absolutely have to be full stopped. We'll get into that in a minute. Um, but it's really very, very imperative that we understand what we are doing to our bodies. And I give RFK Jr., big kudos on that because of the junk we're eating is causing inflammation, chronic inflammation, free radical production, and cancers. And I would like to say that there is a dear friend of ours, Christine and myself, um, that was diagnosed with a melanoma, and that melanoma was a solid melanoma. It wasn't on the skin, and there was a one node that was positive, a lymph node that was positive, and that individual opted to do ivermectin and fenbendazole and CBD oil, along with some intravenous high dose vitamin C. And I'm helping some people with cancer, and I just, if they go on my page or they go to Makis at Makis Medicine, you're going to see an astounding amount of people that are curing their cancers, or some of them stage 3 and 4, very advanced. And we are learning a lot about therapies that are out there, not chemotherapeutic agents, which have a very poor cure rate and a lot of serious side effects and high costs. And your oncologist will not talk to you about these things. But anyway, this particular individual, we got this person going on ivermectin, and due to some mild side effects, I was able to get it up to about 60 milligrams. Uh, should have been up at about, it's a milligram per kilogram per day, every day now. And everybody was freaked out. I freaked out when I used it the first time for Kyle Carter, 58 milligrams. I gave him in literally one day, and now and he got over his COVID, and it's a great story. I won't tell it again, but within 24 hours, all of his tragic symptoms he was having very early on. He would have been on a ventilator and dead within a week. They went away within 24 hours. So anyway, this person's PET scan, follow-up PET scan after 4 months shows no evidence of any cancer.
Mm.
So that is absolutely, it was music to all of our ears. And this individual happens to really like Dragon and Rooster a lot. And now there's added benefit, to continue lemongrass intake and again, dandelion root. They actually showed, if you go on my page, a pig that had a human cancer put on on the outside of the pig, and they gave the pig dandelion root and lemongrass, and it 90% resolved. It only affects cancer cells. It does not affect the normal cells on the pig. So you actually showed after a period of time, you see this big knob on the outside of the pig's skin gradually resolve.
Mm.
And again,
Yeah, they,
more information and more reason why we need a full stop on this COVID poison, and people should not be taking it. It's already killed enough people, and now we're seeing these turbo cancers. So, very, very critical. So, make sure again when you eat your bacon, ham, and sausage that it's extra well done. They've been putting sequevity. When I say they, the agricultural industry has been putting sequevity into pigs, and then the byproduct of the pigs that we all eat, the ham, the bacon, the sausage, has mRNA. It's been injected in these pigs since 2012. And so they're pretty much loaded with sequevity. And you would think that as if that wasn't enough, there's a recent report that just came out, Mike, from the Florida Department of Health, tested candy. Have you heard this?
no, but I'm
Yeah.
afraid to because I like candy.
Halloween's in jeopardy, Mike. They
Say it
tested
isn't
it and
so.
they found arsenic.
I
Arsenic.
did hear this. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did hear this recently.
Yeah. And the arsenic is the king of poison. It's called the king of poison, okay? It has no taste, it has no smell. And it was found in 60% of the candies that our kids eat in levels that are unacceptable and dangerous.
Yeah,
So you're
chocolate
looking at
bars, all kinds of stuff.
Snickers,
Yep.
Skittles, Kit Kat bars,
Mhm.
Nerds, Sweethearts, Twizzlers, Jolly Rogers, Tootsie Rolls. It's
Nothing
uh,
is
it's a
safe.
poison. Arsenic is a poison, and it accumulates over time. And fantastic case actually that Dr. McDonald diagnosed in one of her patients. She did like Sherlock Holmes and tested for arsenic based upon this individual's changes in health, and actually diagnosed arsenic uh, toxicity and poisoning. And it was at incredibly high, dangerous levels. And this person doesn't eat candy. So you can understand where I'm going with that. So this person who doesn't eat candy had extremely high arsenic rates levels and was not feeling well. And it can come out of your system with treatment and help, and that person is doing better because of the excellent diagnosis that she made. So candy is, and I haven't been eating much candy, but I will tell you that there is one. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, Mike.
I can now.
Macalac.
Sweet
My
dark chocolate.
Macalab. I just got my second box in,
Nice.
and this is sweet dark chocolate, Birmingham, Alabama, and they sweeten their blend with allulose and monk fruit. And the allulose in the monk fruit, interesting, it doesn't cause any kind of it's a natural sweetener, so it doesn't have a glycemic effect, meaning it doesn't spike your sugar up and cause hyperinsulinemia, which then leads to chronic insulin resistance and then metabolic syndrome, obesity, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, which then damages the vascular lining of our blood vessels called the endothelium, which then allows the very bad portions of cholesterol, the small LDL, lousy particles, to get into the arteries of your blood vessels and cause plaque. It's not the other way around, which we have been lied to since 1950, that fat is causing the blood vessels to get damaged and for plaques to form.
Hmm.
So, therefore, going back to not only the arsenic in candies, okay, now we're talking about the sugar that is in candies, the sugars that cause those high spikes,
Yep.
metabolic syndrome, hyperinsulinemia, damage to the blood vessel walls called the endothelium, and then the after fact is that cholesterol was called to repair the damage that was produced by the sugar. Have I made myself understandable?
Yes,
You're
you
a
have.
layperson. I need to know you understand what I'm saying, not to tease you,
Hmm.
but we've had it wrong. So when we say it's sugar that's causing the damage or potential arsenic poisoning or whatever, the sugar, the sweets, the carbohydrates cause insulin spikes to chase that high sugar, drive it down, damages the people who get, the type 2 diabetes, damages this very protective lining of the blood vessels. It causes, like a colander, holes in the endothelial barrier that protects our blood vessels from sucking in the bad cholesterol, which is cholesterol is a very important substance for our body to produce critical hormones, cortisol, testosterone, estrogen, vitamin D. So cholesterol is critical. It protects the brain, all the neurons of the brain. All right. So now the bad cholesterol or the cholesterol is being called to the site of the vascular damage, which has been caused by carbs and sugar. And so some of the bad cholesterol gets into and through the damaged blood vessel protective barrier, gets into the muscular layer, and gets gobbled up by macrophages and other components that create plaque in the wall of the artery.
Hmm.
Okay, now that's kind of complex, but again, I got a couple minutes. I don't know where the time goes.
You do have, yeah. Suzette
I don't know
is
if Jane's on,
Suzette has been
if
with us.
Suzette's on yet. Oh,
Yeah,
there she is. Hi, Suzette.
yeah. She's been there for a little
Yeah,
while, so
so
whenever.
there she is. Look at that. So anyway, we'll get to you in a second, and she's going to concur with everything I believe I'm saying, or maybe her cardiology group is not as advanced as I am, but we've had this whole thing wrong um, uh, on the diet heart hypothesis, and that's why I'm pushing the carnivore diet and the keto diet. We need to stay away from carbs. We need to stay away from sugar. Sugar equals cancer. Sugar equals heart blood vessel disease. And so please, people, go to our past shows, meet with Marty and talking about the carnivore diet, understand it, and see the benefits of moving away from our toxic food substances that we're eating now. Kennedy Jr. just turned the food pyramid upside down. We need more protein, more protein, more protein, less carbs, and certainly we need to stay away from sugar. So, Macalat, cacao, 70%. They use monk fruit and allulose, so you don't get a sugar spike. You don't get that taste. They have a magical blend of cordyceps mycelia extract, so you don't get the bitter taste. Okay, so Macalat, Macalat. It's the only dark chocolate I eat. When I drink beer, the only beer I drink is Dos Equis. All right. The only dark chocolate I'm eating now is two pieces of Macalat, Macalat, and they make multiple varieties, but I thought I'd throw that little ditty in there. Finally, before I get to Suzette, I would like to say that there Pfizer, who loves to make us unhealthy, there is now another lawsuit against Pfizer for Depo-Provera.
Okay.
Okay. Um, about 25% of our women in the United States who use birth control take shots called Depo-Provera.
Okay.
And there now is a massive increase, 5.6 times increase in meningiomas, brain tumors, because of Depo-Provera. They make a synthetic progesterone that they put into the Depo-Provera, and that stops the ovaries from releasing the eggs, and that blocks women from getting pregnant. They get that shot every 3 months. Okay, they get that shot. They're supposed to take it only up to 2 years. However, the rate of meningioma now is they've reported over in the 61 million women that they studied, the people that were taking, the women that were taking the Depo-Provera shots, either intramuscularly or subcutaneously, now have a huge 13,000 meningioma cases. These are brain tumors. They're usually benign. They can cause a variety of symptoms. So, women, if you're taking Depo-Provera, go read about it. Most of these cases are the women that have been taking it for more than a year, and they say again, if you read the insert or whatever, I don't know if the doctors have even told them that they have, again, a significant increase. There are legal firms, we see Morgan and Morgan on there. We see the mesothelioma specialist. Now Pfizer, wealth over health. Now we have women who may not even get a chance to become fertile, because the ovaries may not release the eggs if they take this long term, and it also damages the endometrium of the uterus. So again, Pfizer, well, thank you so much, Pfizer, for caring so much about our health. With the COVID shots as well as now this lawsuit. Did you want to say something? Because I know you looked at it quickly.
I did, yeah. So it's interesting that lawsuit was brought forth in Florida, as a matter of fact. About 1,300 women as of just a couple of months ago, and that number is probably increasing at this
I
point.
can't hear you, Mike.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
was just saying
fine.
that that
You're fine.
lawsuit was brought forth in courts in Florida. Interestingly enough, about 1,300 women initially on board with that lawsuit, and that number is most likely growing. So we'll continue to see how that develops.
Oh, it definitely will be growing because once the announcement's out there. So please, if you're an older person who most of, middle age or above who listen to the show, you have a daughter or daughter-in-law or whatever, please advise them about the risk of Depo-Provera. All
Yeah,
right.
I will just add, Doctor, real quickly. According to this, 24.5%, almost a quarter of American females aged 15 to 49 have used Depo-Provera at some point. That's a huge number.
18 to 49 years old. That's the risk group. 18 to 49 in particular,
Okay,
25% of women use this as a method for birth control.
right. Yep,
That's pretty frightening.
that's a big
And
number.
before I get to Suzette, the final potpourri item, which I am going to use the entire hour next week, and I may be able to get Nick on, is a growing number of U.S. adults are reporting cognitive disability. We've talked about cognitive dysfunction ever since the COVID onslaught. And this was a call that was made out to 4.5 million people. It's a 10-year study. It was a phone call. And what we're seeing is a significant amount of people that were called are saying, I can't, my memory's not good. I can't recall things. I'm not learning well. And again, this now also goes back to, the book that I like to talk about criminal behavior. and the rise in criminal behavior and social violence that has risen ever since vaccines, quote unquote, have come to the market. The alterations of mental faculties through meningitis, encephalitis, and now in particular, the significant rise since the COVID shots with the mRNA, with the lipid nanoparticle surrounding the mRNA, which now makes the spike protein throughout your entire body, damages the blood-brain barrier, and I'm there's a beautiful study. We'll talk about all of this in detail next week. That'll be the topic of the show. But all of this nonsense that we've unfortunately been misled about childhood vaccination schedules, et cetera. And I want people to be aware, parents to be aware. Childhood vaccine uptake is dropping, 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 and it needs to be properly assessed. So, without any further ado, I got through most of those points. Thank you, Suzette, for being patient. I know I didn't teach you anything listening to this, but I would like to introduce to the listening audience, and she's already doing her own marketing, as I said earlier. She is I guess, a master of that. I'm learning from her as well. Suzette Chastain, family nurse practitioner slash C, but I'm going to use the slash C as a cardiology expert as well, because she has done a huge amount of things. I'm just going to hit a couple. Actually, I'm not going to hit anything. Suzette has come on board officially, and we are so thrilled to have you. Thanks for being on the show, Suzette.
Thank you, Dr. Burrows. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so we heard that little southern twang. So where are you from, girl?
I'm from Tennessee, worked in Georgia. I've been doing nursing since about 20 years now. And like you said, have a strong background in cardiology. So I've worked with structural, interventional, electrophysiology, vascular, and general cardiology in Georgia. And just made my way down here with my husband. We're here permanently now, and we're super excited to be here.
So when you say you're down here now, I'm not going to dox you. All right, I'm
Sure.
not going to give out your address, but
Okay.
permanent to us means permanent, right? So you
Correct.
are here just below Marathon. I
That's
don't
correct.
want to divulge your 10-mile radius. Okay. However, you are going to be, and we are so pleased to have you in our marathon facility. And we're going to be, tell us a little bit about what you've done to gussy that place up, and how that's going to be your home ultimately. But we are also in need of you. We've had some changes in the upper keys, which I'll get to, but tell us your plan on how you're going to be providing primary care, urgent care a little bit when needed, but also your main thrust will be that strong suit of primary care, because it's an adult population predominantly. And I said that hypertension, hyperlipidemia, palpitations, chest pain, and cardiac problems are the major problems that we see in the older, middle age and older population, along with orthopedic stuff. So tell us about your schedule and what your intentions are.
Okay. So currently, I'm working Monday and Tuesdays in Marathon primary care. I'm working Wednesdays in urgent care in Marathon. And then I'm working Thursday and Fridays temporarily in Key Largo primary care. I know we have a provider coming to fill in that role, and then I'll be back in Marathon Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah, so basically, for the listening audience in the upper keys, our primary care provider there has now finished her tenure in primary care. And that individual, Jamie, is going out into the real world of I guess, her own uh, aesthetic care practice, of which she has done a beautiful job. And we're happy and hope that her aesthetic care practice goes well. So we have already signed on board another individual who is extremely excited about moving to the Upper Keys for reasons that I'm not going to talk about now, but it's a really wonderful uh, thing for us to have a replacement with also almost 20 years of experience of primary care. So we're not going to miss a beat now that Jamie has left, and so we will have primary care at 4 days a week. Okay, and so that is the ultimate goal, if needed, 5 days. But Suzette is such a team player that she said, "Yeah, I'll drive up there," and so she's going to go up there, and we'll make the transition. And all of you can either call to the to our non-standard number, which is 305-294-0011. There'd be a prompt, okay, for primary care Key Largo or to the Key Largo office. But, the direct number up there, so please, if, you need to know what to do, you should have the primary number if you've been there before, which is 786 646 2246. I've got my Rachel Maddow glasses on, but my wife turned the light off. But it's 786-646-2246. That's the primary care office in Key Largo. And in Marathon, thank God Suzette sent me this number this morning, is 786-589-7309. That's 786-589-7309. So if you are in need of primary care in Marathon, I think, Suzette, tell us what you did on your own since you're a marketing queen already and the response.
Um, in Georgia, where I worked before, we had done a lot of PR, and so I'm trying to kind of bring that down here as far as um, you know, getting people involved and doing festivals and things like that. So
Didn't you get an email blast out? Didn't you do something like that?
I think Aaron sent that out. It was just an introduction of myself to the community. I sent also one to the group, the community Monroe County or Marathon County group as well, and got a lot of response from that. Um, I'm very excited about this, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity to care for the patients in Monroe County and their families.
For
And
sure.
Suzette, I was just
Well,
going to,
families, you have quite a family, don't you?
I do. My husband and I have 5 children together. We moved down here to, first of all, start a charter business for him that he'll be starting in May, Chastain's Charters for Christ. And then we moved down here to help the Keys for Christ Trust. It's a church that has started several bases here in the Keys. They have a church in Key West, Marathon, Key Largo, and then we just had our first service at the New Big Pine Baptist Church last Sunday with 102 people showing up. So we're super excited about that.
That's awesome. I'll be happy to speak about COVID if you want to get everybody. I'll be a guest and I don't charge. So when you said, Aaron got that out, I mean, we're basically, I want to remind everybody we are one from Key West to Marathon to Key Largo. We interchange ideas. We have, discussions. We implement ideas and thought processes. So when I say Aaron got when Suzette said Aaron got it out, we put out that on our Facebook, and I think there were something like over 200 positive responses and inquiries. And so, with the very short time that we had with Samantha, who was here before you, in Marathon, we had 90 people that were on board literally within about 2 months, a very limited practice. And then she became increasingly pregnant, as usually happens, I believe. And then her husband got a deployment out of Marathon. So unfortunately, these consequences led to us to have to close it down. So the good news is that it might be a reach, but I don't know if you could have another child.
No,
Okay, so we don't have to worry about pregnancy.
I have
And
two grandchildren.
and your husband is not military, right?
Yeah, right, correct.
You're a keeper, is the point I'm trying to
I'm a
make. You're a
keeper.
keeper, right?
I'm here for the long haul. Yes.
Okay, for the long haul. Okay. And so, you have such a great experience and a great demeanor. Even though you haven't actually opened the practice right now, I think it is going to be available because you're starting Monday. I mean, you're
That's
starting this
correct.
coming week, right?
Yes, I will be starting Monday. It's at 13365 Overseas Highway. And I've also had the chance to meet all the providers and staff at all of the three locations that we have. And I'm really impressed with how caring and professional and patient focused that everyone it really is. And I'm just so grateful to be part of this team.
Well, you're not as grateful as Monroe County is, okay? Because the county needs people like you.
Yeah.
We need these services, and your level of expertise is fantastic. So I'm so happy your husband has loves fishing and and is starting his service. What's the name of his uh, business?
Chastain's Charters for Christ.
And do you have a telephone number for his business yet, or?
Not yet.
Okay, because I caught you unaware. I'm sorry
It's okay.
about that. However, again, the advanced urgent care and Marathon in particular has its primary care office is right next door. So this is how we set it up. So if in fact, let's just say the secretary's sick, okay, you'll register next door at Advanced Urgent Care. Or if Suzette says, "Look, I need to get a blood test right now. I'm worried your potassium's low. You've been on water pills." She's going to send you right next door, and we're going to be able to get that test right next door. All the stuff that we do at Advanced Urgent Care, except we don't have a CT machine in Marathon, but we for in a 45, 50-minute drive, if she says, I think you need a stat CT, and for whatever reason, we would like for you to, or you would like to have it done in Key Largo, or when she's in Key Largo, we'll do it in Key Largo, but when she's in Marathon, she can refer you south or north, and we'll be able to keep everything under one system, one electronic medical record that Suzette already has had her fingertips on the keyboard for that as well. So she's a quick learner. She is brilliant, and she has, if you read her bio, and we'll put it out there even more. Not only is she very well versed, very knowledgeable in the medical field, but her compassion and her faith drives her even further into the type of provider that anyone would want to have for medical needs. And I just feel very blessed that you came and dropped off. It's kind of funny, and then I'll close it out. Or you might want to say something, but she dropped off her resume at my office, and she said, and I'm not going to jinx her or anything, but when we first met and I interviewed her myself, I said, is there any possibility that, we're going to have a shot at getting you? And she said, well, I do have another interview with a big system. And so she chose us. And I think that really is such a blessing. And I thank God for that. And this is not about money. This is not about, other perks and things like that, although we do the best we can. This is about where she can be who she is. We don't micromanage. She has a full team to support her. And again, thank you so much for deciding to join us.
Thank you. I am blessed as well.
Yeah. So again, let me just repeat the number in Marathon is 786-589-7309. And up in Key Largo, Mo is still with us. Everybody loves Mo. Mo's our secretary. They're up there, and Mo knows a lot. He's MA also, is 786-646-2246 up in Key Largo. So that's the Key Largo number, and you can call and start making appointments. And then when we have our other doctor who will be there full time as Suzette is building her medical practice in Marathon, uh, she will then turn over Key Largo to Carlos, and she will become full-time Marathon. So I'm very excited. I'm so very excited. Mike, did you want to say anything?
Certainly. Well, Suzette, welcome. It's wonderful to
Thank you
have
so
you.
much.
I'm a big believer that God has a hand in everything that happens, and you're
Yes,
here
sir.
for a reason, and we're blessed to have you. So thank you and your family. And maybe we'll talk off the air a little bit. Our company is very involved with festivals, events, and marketing throughout the Keys. Dr. Boros is a valued partner with us in that. So anything I can do to help facilitate that. And I also have a background having spent some time in Georgia as well. So a great state, but we're happy to have you here as well.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I would really love the opportunity to care for everyone in Monroe County. So come on in and let's get you healthy.
Absolutely.
That's a great idea. And don't forget about our lemongrass and our dragon and rooster, okay? We're learning all the time. I might actually open a cancer practice somewhere down the road here for alternative cancer treatment. So, I mean, it's just working so well, and so many people just need to know that there are options or adjunctive therapy um, that's available. So
Mhm.
please support Central Duval.
Yes.
We have the Emporium. And if you want a really great bison burger, and now that I'm a carnivore, it was a full meal, Wagyu burgers. We also have fish. We have um, snow crab claws, great sides. Come on in, support Central Duval, the Emporium, Dragon and Rooster with its lemongrass, okay, and Docks on Duval. And have a great weekend, everybody. And Suzette, thank you for your time, and look forward
Thank you.
to many years of working together.
Thank you.
Michael, thank you.
Yes, thank you both very much. Thank you all for listening and continue to listen next week at this very same time. This has been AUC with Dr. B.